So you thought that the overconsumption of sugar and carbohydrates were going to be the only factors leading to insulin resistance. Well, it turns out, according to the research, there's a new player in town. This is going to be fats. And yes, you heard that right. Fats can actually lead to insulin resistance. Let me share with you how. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski, and it's a pleasure being here in this video with you today. I first want to draw your attention to a study that was done by the British Medical Journal, and what they were showing is 205,000 adults across 3 major U.S. observational health studies over the course of 30 years. And what they found is that when you consume French fries, it actually was associated with a 20% higher risk in developing insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Now, this is very fascinating because once again, most of us have only been told that it's high sugar, high carbohydrate diets that lead to insulin resistance. But there's more. And the truth is, there's 2 different perspectives in which we have to view the body when it comes to insulin resistance. One is going to be from an endocrinology perspective. That means high sugar, means high insulin, and then the pancreas beta cells have to produce more insulin, and over time it becomes worn out, leading to this insulin resistance. And then there's the immunological perspective, and that is looking at inflammation and how increased inflammation actually will disrupt the function of the cell membrane, impairing insulin signaling. And studies are showing now that the consumption of trans fats is linked to higher levels of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Now, interestingly, when we look back at that study, they looked at the potato itself. Well, if we have French fries versus baked potatoes or mashed potatoes, what's the difference? Turns out the French fries were linked to insulin resistance, and the baked potato and the mashed potatoes, well, those weren't. Well, what is the difference here? And what's the big takeaway? Well, the truth is that potatoes are actually a pretty healthy food. In fact, they're high in potassium, which most of us need more of, and they're a high satiety food. This means that when you eat potatoes, you will actually feel full for longer. And in fact, many bodybuilders or anybody who's trying to cut calories will often incorporate potatoes because they know that it'll stop them from overeating and it'll actually help them cut their calories and come in at a calorie deficit, which can absolutely help with weight loss. So therefore, potatoes have a lot of benefit. But when we look at eating French fries, there's something different. And that's obviously that they're fried. And there's more happening there than just the fact that they were dipped in oil. What is happening in our body from this oil that we are frying this potato in? And essentially, we're going to start with oxidized fats. Frying uses high heat and often reuses these oils many, many times. And then as a result of that, it can form harmful byproducts and, of course, an oxidized lipid. From there, we're going to have acrylamide. If you're not familiar with this is what forms during the browning process when making French fries. It's linked to inflammation, insulin resistance, and also blood vessel damage. From there, there's more. If we look at a baked potato versus a French fry, we're going to just have added fats and calories. Frying dramatically increases your calorie intake and your calorie density. But there's also more that's associated with that. The glycemic load is also magnified. When you take the potato and you fry it, you put it under that high heat, you cause structural changes in the starch itself. And as a result, it's going to cause your blood sugar to spike higher and more rapidly. Now, also, frying is linked to inflammation. These processed fats provoke chronic inflammation, which is known as a huge contributor of insulin resistance. So, is it frying itself that is the problem, or is it the oil that you're using? We'll get to that in just a second, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. Did you know that your water contains microplastics, pharmaceuticals, chlorine, fluoride, and toxic forever chemicals such as PFOAs? Clean water is essential to your health, and that's why I always personally drink filtered water and recommend that you do too. If you're looking for the perfect at-home RO system, then you'll want to check out Simpure, a 6-stage alkaline countertop RO system with remineralization. Unlike most reverse osmosis systems that strip away everything, including beneficial minerals, this advanced system not only removes 99.9% of contaminants, but it also is going to replenish essential minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. This means that you get pure, great tasting water and also mineral balanced water that is healthy and has an alkaline pH. With a 6-stage filtration system, a 2.5 to 1 pure to drain ratio, and a compact countertop system, it's the perfect choice for anyone who wants both purity and wellness in every glass of water that you drink. And right now, you can get 32% off this SimPure system by using my code. Don't wait to drink good, clean water. Your body deserves mineral-rich, clean water today. Click on the link below to save 32% on your very own SimPure system today. Thanks SimPure for sponsoring this video. So we determined it's not the potato itself, and it really comes down to the fat. And it turns out that most frying is done in artificial trans fats. These are chemically altered vegetable oils. Unfortunately, they're very cheap, so most restaurants are going to use them. And the reason that they're chemically altered, these vegetable oils, is so that they stay liquid, because as you know, if you go and you get a coconut oil, it's solid in most cases. So they want these oils to stay liquid, but they also want them to be shelf stable for longer periods of time. So hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, such as canola oil, soybean oil, or even vegetable shortening, these are going to be very unhealthy and lead to inflammation in the body. Of course, these fats aren't the only thing that leads to inflammation in the body. Eating highly processed foods also drives inflammation in the body, which in turn could lead to insulin resistance. So what we're seeing here is anything that's going to drive inflammation is also ultimately going to have an impact on insulin resistance. So when we look at people's diet today and how they are struggling with type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, it's not only because of the carbs and sugar, it's because of the highly inflammatory foods combined with the carbohydrates and the sugar. So if you're going to eat fat, you want to make sure that you're choosing good, healthy fats. And the good, healthy fats that you can fry in are going to be oils like coconut oil or avocado oil or even beef tallow. However, going and utilizing trans fats in many of these really unhealthy seed oils in order to fry with is only going to lead to inflammation. Now, of course, we not only want to make sure that we're frying with a healthy oil, but we want to make sure that we're pulling these oils out of our diet altogether. Many non-dairy creamers, many baked goods, even things like movie popcorns and packaged foods are all loaded with these trans fats that are very inflammatory to our body, which are all linked to insulin resistance. So therefore, we have to make sure that we're eating healthier fats and we're making better choices. Butter, ghee, olive oil, coconut oil, tallow, and even avocado oil are all better choices that should be utilized when you're consuming fats. And whenever you're going to fry, you have to make sure that you're using an oil with a high smoke point, which I already mentioned. Coconut oil, avocado oil, and tallow are going to be the best for frying. So make sure that you're utilizing healthy fats in your home, you're frying with better fats, and you're not going out to restaurants and eating French fries, because clearly we know that they lead to insulin resistance. So now you're armed with the knowledge in order to avoid insulin resistance and get your health under control. I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out this one next.